Buying a car can be a daunting task, and more often than not, there are simply more questions than answers. Are you paying the right price for the car? Is the car in mechanically good condition? Is the car going to be reliable? And how do you know if the seller of this car is being truthful? The list goes on and on. But I do have some good news. There are some active things that you can be doing to make sure that you're protected if you're somebody who's looking to buy a car. And in this video, I'm going to be breaking down some of my favorite tips and tricks that have helped me in every single car transaction I've ever been a part of. And this is all from the perspective of somebody who has purchased dozens of vehicles over the last year. So whenever you're looking to buy a car, there are really two key questions that you should be asking yourself whenever you're going through the car buying purchase. Number one, is this car worth buying? And number two, are you paying the right price for that car? If you can get answers to those two questions, you are really going to be setting yourself up for success whenever it comes to buying this new vehicle. Now, I have in the past made videos talking about how to conduct pre-purchase inspections. I will include a link to that video down in the description below. So in this video, I'm not really going to be talking about what you should physically look out for whenever you're at the car. So things like rust, oil leaks, transmission issues, we're not going to be covering those aspects of the car buying process in this video, even though they are extremely important. Instead, what I want to talk about in this video are some of the additional steps that you can take in addition to doing a pre-purchase inspection, in addition to test driving the car. Now, the first thing that you should do, and truthfully, this is probably something that you should do even before you go look at a car in person, and in my opinion, this is one of the most important steps that you should take, is getting a vehicle history report for the specific car that you're looking at getting. One of the more famous companies that offer this is Carfax, but really you can go with any company that you feel comfortable using. The most important part is to make sure that the company that you're getting this vehicle history report from is a reputable company with reputable reports. A vehicle history report is going to tell you so much about the car that you're buying, from how many miles this car should have, if the car has been in a wreck, if the car has had severe damage like flooding or a total loss, past claims and maintenance issues, as well as how many owners a car has had. This information is incredibly important because knowing what's on a vehicle history report will give you a glimpse into the past history of that car, and the history of a vehicle can truly make or break the future of one. For example, recently Carvana has been getting a lot of flack because they sold a man a stolen Maserati. And granted, in this specific scenario, Carvana said that the thieves of this car were extremely sophisticated and thus Carvana didn't even realize that the car was stolen. But I think that this is a prime example of why running a vehicle history report is so incredibly important, because it is going to educate yourself on which car you're specifically buying. It's going to protect yourself in the case that a car is stolen or has some sort of unsavory history. It's just going to give you some more context into the car that you're buying, and it can protect you from any fraudulent sellers. The fact is, always buy the report. I don't care if you're buying a car from a private party seller or a franchise dealership, you should always buy the report, you should always review it, and you should make sure that you know exactly what you're buying. I'll even go as far as to always buy my own report. So if a dealership or a private party seller offers me their report for free for the vehicle, I simply will look at it, but I'll also buy my own on top of that, because the truth is, you never know if the information has been modified or edited, and my philosophy is better safe than sorry. On the topic of reliability is the question of how does this car that you're buying rank as far as reliability and maintenance goes? And this can be a really hard question to answer, because if you ask 10 different people what the best and most reliable car on the market is, you're going to get 10 different answers. And sure, there are some staple answers and brands to that type of question. For example, Toyota is widely considered to be one of the best and most reliable cars on the road, but whenever it comes to other makes and models, this is a hotly debated topic. And whenever it comes to reliability, my rule of thumb is to always listen to the owners. Now, most of the cars that I currently buy are cars that I know a lot about and I feel very comfortable purchasing. But whenever HP and I are looking to buy a car that we maybe aren't as familiar with, or we haven't owned one of these cars in the past, we will typically look at either Facebook groups or Reddit threads for current owners of these exact same vehicles. So for example, whenever we bought our Maserati Ghibli, we went onto Maserati Facebook groups and Reddit threads to see what other owners were saying. We want to know firsthand what these owners are experiencing and what issues they're complaining about. How expensive are the issues to fix, and are owners generally happy with the cars and their performance? You can gain so much insight into simply talking to and listening to other owners. And while resources like JD Power, vehicle safety ratings, and national rankings with automotive publications can give you some great info, in my experience, listening to people who use and drive their cars every single day are much more valuable. Reddit, Facebook, YouTube, these are all great places to start when it comes to finding out what owners are truly saying about a car. Now onto the topic of value, and asking yourself the question, are you paying the right price for this car, and how will this car's value hold up over time? Now, the importance of value and depreciation is a topic that will vary depending on your personal financial situation, as well as how long you plan to actually keep the car. If you're going to keep the car until the wheels fall off, then depreciation doesn't matter a whole lot. But if you're somebody who's buying a new car and you want to eventually sell that car in a couple of years, then depreciation is going to be a huge issue. Unless you're super rich and you don't care about losing 30% of the value of your car in a couple of years, but that couldn't be me. Depreciation is one of the reasons why I'm such a proponent of buying used. I think in most cases, buying used simply makes more sense, and you're able to save a lot of money by the lack of depreciation whenever you buy used versus when you buy new. But the exact impact that depreciation will have on your vehicle and on your finances will depend on your personal situation, how long you plan on keeping the car, as well as what type of car you buy. But the point is, regardless of which car you purchase, you should make sure to educate yourself on how depreciation will play its role in the value of your car. That way, whenever you go to sell your car, there aren't any surprises. Gauging how depreciation will affect your car's value is especially tricky in today's market because the general car market is still overinflated. But you can still turn to third-party websites to help you gauge roughly where depreciation will fall whenever it comes to sell your car. I personally really like Car Gurus, I like KBB, Cars.com, and even Facebook Marketplace can be a valuable tool. While we're on the topic of value, one of the websites that I've been really going to a lot lately is Cars.com, because on the individual vehicle listings, they have a feature that allows for you to see how long a car has been listed on the platform, as well as the historical price drops that a car has had during its time being listed for sale. One of my biggest pet peeves with dealerships is whenever you call a dealership to ask if a specific car is available, and they act as though people are knocking down doors in order to reach the exact same car that you're interested in buying it. And then once you go to the dealership, they simply lie about how much money they've spent on the car and how much they can really sell it for. I hear it all the time with dealerships saying things like, yeah, this car's available, but it's gonna sell fast. Or whenever you go into the sales office to negotiate, the salesman will say, we can't go any lower than this, we're already losing money on this deal. But the truth is, your problem isn't whether or not a dealership is losing money on a specific deal. Your problem is to make sure that you've done your research so that you can properly negotiate on the car that you're interested in buying. The longer a car has been on the market, the more negotiating power you have as a buyer, and the more price drops a car has, the more desperate a seller is. And while doing your research, running the Carfax, taking into account value and depreciation are all incredibly important to make sure that you are making the best purchase you possibly can. The most important aspect of protecting yourself during the car buying process is simply being patient. Most cars out there are not worth buying. They're either overpriced, run down, but some are worth buying. In fact, some are great deals. And if you're buying a car, you have to be patient. There are times where I've purchased 3 cars in 1 month because I find stellar deals back to back to back. But there are other times where I'll go a couple of months without buying a single car because I simply haven't found a car worth buying. When buying a car, especially if you're somebody who's prioritizing the value of that car and buying a car at a below market value price, patience is going to be your most important action. Because as long as you do your due diligence and as long as you're patient, then once you find a deal that's worth buying, you'll be able to jump on that purchase and you'll be able to feel really good about it. This is my advice for anybody who's wanting to buy a car in this current car market and you're worried about putting yourself in a poor financial situation. I feel confident that if you've done everything that we've outlined in this video, then you'll be setting yourself up for success and there will be no buyer's remorse for you. But like always, you guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, comments, if you have anything to add, I would love to hear it, so make sure to leave a comment down below. And while you guys are at it, make sure to hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video.